No man do they call me, my mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Greetings to all and everyone. Whether you are here for the stream or listening to it as a recording, the following is a Warhammer themed political talk show parody. It is intended to entertain and make light of modern political discourse, or lack thereof. I offer this as a preamble and as a warning to those who might be sick and tired of politics or might have other reasons for not wanting to hear such content. For the rest of us who are in dire need to laugh at those who are in charge and at ourselves as well, welcome to the Cyrus Amani Show. Welcome all and everyone to the Cyrus Amani Show, the real place for truth in the galaxy. When lies are spread across the solar winds, we catch them here and crush them in the name of the Emperor and in the name of a wiser, kinder, more empathetic Imperial. Now, we have a full docket, let me tell you what. There are a lot of goings on in the galaxy, and it just seems like mess after mess is caused by greedy governors and money-grubbing merchants who are too busy squabbling to worry about the welfare of their people and the hordes of Xenos, heretics, and so forth knocking on their doors. Now, a little reminder of how we do things on the show. We need to keep the lights on, so if you give us a little donation, Miss Doris, lovely lady who's working the phones, will connect you directly to me. And I'll lay some good old-fashioned Terran truth on them. Some Imperial truth, even. Oh, I bet that got the Pius fans riled up, didn't it? How we doing? Everyone coming in clear? Miss Doris, is everyone hearing me out okay out there on the Vox waves? Let's see, we got a few voices lighting up the phones, but why don't we talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak, the groks in the room. Recently, one Adrian Pius on the so-called Adrian Pius show did denigrate and falsely accuse those who support the imperial truth that the emperor is not a god. The emperor is a man like you or me, just much more extraordinary and powerful man who guides mankind through the cosmos to our destiny to one day know peace and prosperity free of religious superstition. Now, this idea had been gone for quite some time, that we had all been believing that the emperor of mankind was a god, the same way people talk about all manner of nefarious Xenos gods or heretic gods and all kinds of nonsense. People used to believe that the emperor was just like them. Why would you look at some Xenos god and say, you know what? I think the emperor is just like that. Emperor must be a god. And for a long time, we thought that. We did. But with the return of the avenging sun, we now get a glimpse of the truth that lay in the emperor's heart at the founding of the Imperium. That he knew that the gods that dwell in this galaxy, whether they be Cetan, or whether they be some sort of warp abomination, or whether they be some pointy-eared flouncing around this way, that way, causing all kinds of ruckus sort of gods, that is not what the Emperor of Mankind is. The Emperor of Mankind is a man. How to be the Emperor of Mankind not be a man, How do you figure that one out? But no, Adrian Pius, he doesn't like to think about things. He doesn't like to use logic and science. He prefers to hold on to the old ways of thinking, and so do all of his rather foolish and quite frankly silly listeners. Now I know we got some Adrian Pius fans out there. Some who really believe that what does he call us? He calls us the Imperial Truthers. Thinks that we're the ones ruin everything in this galaxy. No. You see, the things that are ruining this galaxy is greed and not taking care of the people of the Imperium. That's the strength of the Imperium, is the people. The upstanding, intelligent, well-read, sophisticated people that make up this Imperium. Now, let's slow things down a bit because I might be moving a little quickly for all you Pius fans out there. Why don't we talk about a problem that's been circulating across the Vox waves recently? I think some of you are familiar with the situation on Imperial 5 with Governor Gregg. So, the way Pius tells it, the whole situation, he's not too pleased about it because the men on the bottom of the totem pole, there was a revolution against Sumalis, Governor Sumalis, who had been wasting all the money that had been coming in, just a corrupt individual who'd been wasting resources, growing fat off of the work of the people of Imperial 5. And those people became upset, got rid of him, installed their own governor, a man of the people, or an Ogren of the people, I suppose. And they have said he's going to be governor because better an Ogren than a corrupt politician. And I appreciate the point, I suppose. I appreciate the point, though I must say, Greg does not exactly have the experience or expertise to be a proper governor. But where we differ, myself, and that's about where Pius and I split as far as commonalities. The problem is the way workers are treated. See, I don't call them menials. A lot of people throw around the term menial. And I refuse to do that because it demeans the hard work that people are putting into everything that goes into making the Imperium run. It runs on the backs of these workers, and to call them menials is unfair to them. So I want to encourage my listeners to we really want to petition the High Lords of Terra to change this. We have been collecting thrones to fix this abomination, this disrespect, and we want all instances in all of our legal documents across the Imperium to change all instances of menial with worker. Now that's probably gonna end up running us about 5 quintillion thrones to change every single legal document throughout the Imperium. But I believe that it is worth it. I believe that it is worth it when I see the hardships and difficulties and poor working conditions and relentless hours that our workers face. The only thing I can think to do is change the words that we call them, because that's going to be the thing that solves all their problems, everything that they're facing. Now, come on, you all see the truth in that. If you give something a nicer name, it's the first step to making things nicer. So let's take this first step, and then all those difficult details of how exactly you're going to deal with widespread inequality and abuse of power across over a million worlds. How do you start systematically dealing with that? That's a big, complicated problem, and I don't deal with complicated solutions. Let's make our menials workers again. How about that? How about that? Start right there. Start right there. All right. So that's a good way to open up. But let's take a look. Doris, do we have anyone on the phones with any interesting questions? All right, got Andres Harvest wants to end the 28-hour work shifts. See, I see some wisdom in that. I see some wisdom, some kindness and empathy being shown towards our menials who, I'm sorry, I made the mistake myself. To our workers who put forth so much work. Let's roll it back. Let's cut it back. Let's see if we can get back down to 24 hours. There was a day in the Imperium when we could have a 24-hour work shift and not have our rations cut. Come on now. Come on now. You all know this. You got any other good questions, Ms. Doris? I got Nightmare. Have you been reading Carlinus Marcus? Oh, that's a Pius follower right there. That's a Pius follower. Every single time I bring up being a little bit more decent to people in the galaxy, you gotta bring up Carlinus Marcus. Uh, it's Marcusism. That's what it is. It's Marcusism. Nope, it's being decent. It's being decent for the first time in a long time. What do you think of? We got Timmy Tech Priest. What do you think of anti-chaos? What do you mean anti-chaos? It sort of sounds like sort of a name you give something that you want it to just sound good, regardless of what the thing does. But I'm against chaos. I'm always against chaos. We got a Miss Doris. We got a phone ringing off the hook. Oh, we got Old Man Skeletal. Oh, I think this fella called into Pius. Maybe got a little bit of warning about that. Let's get Old Man Skeletal on the line here. Old Man Skeletal, what do you got to say here? So, are you saying that burning menials for demanding lunch breaks is bad? Well, thank you, Old Man Skeletal. Look, I'm saying that we need some reasonable reforms to make our workers. See, I would change that sentence for you. So I would be saying that burning workers for demanding lunch breaks is bad. Yes, I would agree with that. The workers is the important part. But thank you very much for Old Man Skeletal. Thank you very much for your call. But yeah, let's start right there. No more burning our workers for demanding lunch breaks. Oh, I got Miss Doris pointed out a fellow by the name of Attrition. We got servitor reform, mentions of servitor reform. Has anyone ever looked into the conditions that servitors work under and considered servitor rights? Now it's a new sort of idea. It's bold and cutting edge to consider the feelings of a servitor. But hey, we're here on the cutting edge of empathy and care here in the galaxy, and I will not turn away a new topic of discussion, a new frontier of a kinder, gentler Imperium. A kinder, gentler, better run Imperium. See, that's Miss Doris is saying that there's fellow made a good point. You don't burn them. You reform them into servitors. See, these are the kinds of reforms that we want to start discussing, of ways of making really making things in the Imperium a bit work better. There's a lot of inefficiency, and we want our government to work better, smarter. All right. So one of the big issues that we have in the Imperium is we have a completely overflooded prison system. We got whole planets, whole systems full of nothing but penal colonies, and what are we doing? We're just supporting the prison industrial complex. The prison industrial complex. So, quite honestly, we really need to consider. Oh, we got a Miss Doris. We got another donation coming in from Charlie Elliott. Hey, Cyrus Amani, I just wanted to let you know, have a nice weekend. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, thank you, Charlie. I do my very best to keep things on the level, and I will do my very best to have a very good weekend. Now, getting back to the issue of prisons, what we really need to do is we need to shift away from a prison system that is punitive, and we need to move more towards a prison system that is rehabilitative, that takes prisoners and reforms them into productive members of society, providing them training and all these different sorts of things. So when you have uh, billions, if not trillions, if not quadrillions of murderers, of hired gunmen, of gangers of the worst sort, and we're trying to figure out what to do with them. The answer is simple. Everyone's looking for complicated answers to complicated questions, and I like to keep things simple. So reform them. Just put more money in reformation problems. Reform them. That's it. It's not complicated. Let's do good things and not bad things. That's it. So we got a Miss Doris. What we got coming up? Ah, from a fellow by the name of Zachary Weaver is asking about penal legions, and is that not a productive members of the Imperium? As well, you know, we always respect the troops serving the will of the Emperor of mankind. So obviously, penal legions are a an excellent way for a pathway out, a pathway towards being a productive citizen, so to speak. But what we need to be concerned about is what happens when the fighting's over. When you send in, uh, a billion-man legion, a penal legion, what happens? What my real concern is, what happens to the 12 men that survive? Are they taken care of? Are they going to be able to have jobs when this is all over? No, Ms. Doris says somebody hit the nail right on the head. So basically, throwing money at a problem always works, especially if you own shares in solutions. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about here. If you simply invest more money in solving the problem without proper oversight, or making sure that the people who are in charge are utilizing those funds efficiently, and just trust that it'll get better the more money you put into it. That's the answer to just about everything. All right, we got Lorenzo on the line. Thank you, Miss Doris. Uh, hey, Cyrus, Amani. Look, I just wanted to say that servitors is really a great opportunity for jobs and skill training for prisoners. Love your show. Thank you. I mean, that's another point, especially if we are pushing on servitor rights. You get a lot of good, tech priests can get a lot of good programming and job training worked into a servitor. So again, we're talking a possibly massive increase in life quality from living on a penal planet to living the life of a useful, valued servitor with all you need just plugged right into you. So appreciate. See, Lorenzo, I think is on is really has the idea about where we want to go with reform here, where we want to go with prison reform. Now we've talked about the mess that Miss Doris. We have another question, or Miss Doris says we have another question. We got should voidsman unions be allowed to have a say and not be declared heretics? Voidsman, you're talking about the different folks who man our ships, who man the ships for the Imperial Navy. I just want to be real specific on what you mean by voidsman unions. Because right now, I think that our workers, not menials, workers should have a right to unionize to be able to negotiate. If they're not going to be given their rights, if they've got to pull teeth to get them, I say let them get their degree in dentistry and start pulling teeth if that's the way it has to be. But yes, I don't think the voidsman unions are in the wrong at all. I think the bigger problem, again, uh, are all these folks who value money over the empathy towards their fellow humans. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Pre- Appreciate that. Appreciate that little bit of food for thought. But I think let's move on to our next issue of discussion. And I think all of us have at one point or another been near a hive city, or been on a planet that is predominantly hive. And I think it's really time in this period of galactic unrest and war raging across every sector. I think we really need to focus on the environmental concerns that come with 100 billion people living in one city. Now, I know the What are the Pius fans going to say? What are the Pius fans going to say? What do they say? They say, "Oh, we're just gonna have to just a waste of money trying to improve the environment." Oh, why do you hate toxic planes of toxic ash so much? Why's it got to be that way? You're just wasting money. You're getting in the way of industry. I think that is a foolish thing to say. Look, if we can build the navies that we need to defend all of humanity, then we can uh, dramatically restructure the entire way we live our lives in the midst of countless wars uh, to be able to improve emissions by at least 10% over the next 100 years. I think that's a reasonable thing to try to pursue, and I think that's a wise thing to try to. We need to start worrying about things now that most of the planets have been completely eradicated of any kind of natural habitat. Now is the time we need to start fixing things. All right, Miss Doris, we got a Trazen the Infinite. All right, Trazen, what do you got for us? Greetings, Cyrus Amani, an Imperial that it is truly wants their upstart people to have better lives. You will be a great addition to my eternal collection. Oh, oh, you're one of those. Uh, um, uh, Doris, I think you need to be a bit more careful about which one of these fellas you let on the air. Uh, as far as what system do I live in, Doris, hey Doris, what system we got Adrian Pius on? Oh, all right. The I'm you could probably find me on the indelible system. Yeah. The Vox News station out there. Yeah. Even though I do not work for Vox News, you probably find me in that building. I got more hair than in my picture right here. A little heavier set, shorter fella. I know it doesn't look like I have a robot arm, but I have a robot arm and a robot eye. That's me. That's the one you're looking for. and anyway, look, we really need to start tackling these concerns that have been plaguing the Imperium for the past 10,000 years. We waited. We got we have planets that have been completely stripped of resources. They don't have an atmosphere anymore. It's rain. It's toxic rain and sludge and radioactivity everywhere. Now is the time to clean it all up. Now is the time to clean it all up. Now we got. Uh-oh. Miss Doris says we might have a heretic in chat. Well, listen, we are open-minded, and let's not be so hasty. Let's see. We got someone asking, would you say the Imperium's constant genocide is justified or not? Well, do you think that the Emperor was right to go on his great crusade and found the Imperium? I'm gonna ask that one? All right, well, Miss Doris, why don't you track that particular transmission? We'll see who gets there first. We got the Arbites on the way, maybe the Inquisition, or maybe just an angry mob will show up and will take care of that one for us. We do not cotton to no Xenos or heretics of any kind on this show. Miss Doris. We got a hostile phone caller on the line. We got Joseph Eastham. Hey, Cyrus Armani. Yeah, it's brave of you to take my call, but everyone, this man is a gene stealer. He has goggles. He's bald. He's talking about poor. He is a gene stealer. Don't let him lie to you. All right, Miss Doris. All right. Just a little joke played by Miss Doris here, letting one of the crazy ones in. No, I am 100% human being. Human being. All right, we got the phones ringing off the hook here. We got Niels Ebsen calling in. Go right ahead. Thank you, Cyrus. As an inhabitant of a paradise world close to Fenris, I can report that after our workforce became heavily unionized, profits may have slightly decreased for the nobles, but heretics find it a lot harder to gain followers. See, we got evidence right here that our methods work. That what we're talking about, what we're thinking about, there are systems out there that are getting it done, all for a couple more crowns and thrones than what we're used to. So Niels Epson, thank you very much. You got a nice balance out there after Joseph comes in here with his wild accusations. We got some nice, thoughtful well-reasoned, calm analytics here. There we are. There we are. So now I've talked a little bit about the environmental. We really should be dealing with. We talk about unions. We talked about really the environmental impact that we should be concerned about. So while we're simultaneously trying to improve things for workers, we're also trying to deal with environmental issues, which of course makes for less work. Because as we know, it's all the emissions and toxic and radiation that all comes from industry. And what better way to help our workers than to reduce that industry so they don't have to work so much. I know they got the Adrian Pius folks. They're just going to say if they're not working as much, they're not going to make as much money. They're going to get upset. And I think that is a silly thing to be worried about. That's all I'll say on the issue. So what we really, honestly, we've had a string of bad news coming. We've had a really rough millennia, I would say. We had the fall of Cadia, the creation of the great rift, the Cicatrix maledictum, and we've just been beset on all sides, especially the poor folks in the Imperial Nihilus. Now, we really need to. Now, we had some good in that. We got the Avenging Sun return. We got Gilliman, Rabute Gilliman, coming back to help lead things and kind of start sorting stuff out. And if there's anyone who knows how to run things, it's Gilliman. But he's been contending with this endless greed. But before I'm going to talk more about Gilliman in a bit, but I think what we really want to focus on is let's start with the refugees that we've been dealing with coming from the Imperium Nihilus, because I know this is something that Adrian Pius talked about. All right, Ms. Doris is saying we might have another question. Let's quick do this before we dive into the refugee crisis, because I really want to rip into Pius on this one. So Cyrus, what is your view on the fact that certain people want to disobey the Emperor's will and make new technology? Well, that all depends on who you're talking to and when. Because it's not like we haven't had new technology. Where did the Primaris Marines come from? Where do all the new vehicles come from? Where did new suits of power armor come from? We're not using the same stuff they used in the Crusade. Things change. Now, I think there is such a thing as tech heresy, but I'm all for progress. I'm all for giving us better weapons and better tools to defend the Imperium. All right, Dave. So we got another caller on the phone. We got Big Chad coming back at you. Hey, Cyrus. So I have the feet pics of Kazazel the Dark Eldar. 100 thrones, and I will release them to you for the show. Now, that is a generous offer, Big Chad. Doris, how are you? Are you screening these folks at all? Oh, well, he did donate, huh? You mean he donated to us, and then asked us to pay money to him for, and he wants us to show feet pics on a Voxcast. That's what he wants us to do? Doris, we get some strange ones on here. All right, thank you very much, Big Chad. Thank you very much for your call. I'll hand that to the producers here, and we'll we'll take that into consideration. But we do very much appreciate your donation, Big Chad. Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. All right, so getting back onto what I was about to go into, refugee crisis. So what did Pius say? What did Pius say? He wanted to take the refugees and use them to colonize dead planet. Just plop them somewhere. Plop them somewhere, not in my backyard. That's what Pius said. A lot of empathy right there. Doesn't want them coming into his backyard. Doesn't want them causing trouble. And we know that when you're moving billions and billions and billions of people, trillions maybe even quadrillions. Whenever we got all these people fleeing from the Imperium Nihilus and all the threats they're facing, looking for safety and succor in the much more stable Imperium Sanctus that we're all in right here. What we really need to do is just think of all those countless people as good people that will easily acclimate to whatever new planet that we settle them on. Look, this is not any different from prison reform. If you just put money at it, it'll get better, and people will settle in. You don't need to worry about vetting people or making sure that they don't have criminal background, and you might think it's we don't want to engage in any kind of invasive activity like that. We really want to make sure that these people, that's the primary thing, is make sure that these people are safe. Because it makes us good to think about it that way without having to address the problems that are going to come with relocating 1 quadrillion people. So that's it. That's it. It's we got the space, we got plenty of planets, we got plenty of hive cities that we are going to have to adjust to make them more environmentally friendly. But even still, we've got to wage wars, reform the prison system, clean up the environment, and accept all wage wars, and also accept all these refugees. And it'll all be done using the bureaucracy that I've already said does not work very well and is very corrupt. What could go wrong? What could go wrong with accepting all these quadrillions of people? All right. Yes, yeah. My cyber mastiff's acting up. He's a fierce one. Ever since we've gotten numerous calls from that there Trazen fella inquiring as to my whereabouts, we've invested heavily in cyber mastiffs, the best kind of security. So look, I mean, the thing is, we live in an imperium that is divided, and we really need to heal this rift. Because we got people who believe, like Adrian Pius and all of his anti-truthers, who still hold on to these ancient old ideas about how things are supposed to go. And we have my ideas. And those are the only 2 kinds of ideas that are in the galaxy, and there's no possible way to compromise on any of these things, or examine each individual instance that as they exist on different continents, on different planets, and different cities and hives, that each situation will be handled in accordance with the needs of that individual situation. That's way too much nuance for anyone to try to implement on a case by case basis. That's it's more than I can think about, and it's hard to get people angry about thinking about stuff that much. All right, we got another caller. We got Niels Ebsen coming in again, a good friend of the show, Niels Ebsen. All right, Niels, you were on once before. I'm happy to have you back on. Thank you, Cyrus. Just wanted to let you know that the unions here are concerned that the refugees being resettled on our world will act as scabs, leading to general lowering of the bargaining power of the unions. Well, look, some might say that having the opinion of bringing in all these refugees, a group of desperate people that are very easy to exploit, and putting them on stable, uh, civilized and paradise and hive worlds, it can cause some kind of upheaval. And I prefer to not think about how my interest in considering the welfare of the workers is going to conflict with my interest in wanting to help and protect uh, disparate populations. Uh, and instead of trying to look for some kind of a compromise or the best case solution, I just want to endorse both things without figuring out how to fix them. So thanks once again, Niels. Always a pleasure to have you calling in. Miss Doris still have we tell me we still have Trazen the Infinite knocking around on the phones. Uh, is he? How's scans coming? Oh, they don't. They come out of different dimensions, don't they? Them skeleton boys. All right. Well, nothing on scan so far. And I'm still here. I'm still on the air. So far, so good. All right, we got another call coming in on Hot Rod. Hey, Cyrus. On the topic of progress, I was in a cultural exchange with the blue skin Xeno. What they could offer was outstanding, but when I left the world, the Inquisition blew up the planet. Who wins in this? Now, Hot Rod, if we are open minded and kindly empathetic people here towards all manner of humanity, but we do not cotton to the lies of the Xenos here on this Voxcast. To cavort and canoodle with the alien, with the Xenos, is to fly in the face of the Emperor's grand design and the Emperor's great crusade. What's that? What's that, Miss Doris? He did donate money, huh? Huh. Old Hot Rod? Well, Hot Rod, I perhaps if you're still knocking around, maybe there's some hope for you to kind of see the light on this one. I appreciate your call, but I appreciate your donation, Hot Rod, but I think you're gonna get in some trouble with your neighbors on this one. All right. So look, the thing is, when it comes to issues like trying to resolve problems between workers and conflicting interests between them and refugees, uh, look, there's no place for nuance in it. It's either you have the pious attitude of who cares about he would say those menials, those whining menials, and he'll say those no good refugees. And so you don't do anything to help them out, or you try to help them both out and possibly create some kind of conflict of interest that you didn't think to address when you started solving the problem. But those are the only two solutions. Nuance is the enemy of the Imperium, and only through arguing from 2 points of view that it's impossible to reconcile are we going to be able to move past this by accepting what I say and completely rejecting everything that Adrian Pius says. Now, I understand that all of you are intelligent and really some of the kindest, gentlest, most fiercely loyal people in the entire Imperium. Oh, Looks like we got Niels Ebsen calling in again. Niels, you are really footing the bill here at the station, but as again, we appreciate that. Thank you, Cyrus. I am sympathetic to you, but on my world, we have what you seem to be advocating, but yet the policies you advocate would ruin that system. Which is it? Organized labor or refugee resettlement? Look, Niels, I have a saying, and it's something that is completely true. It is when you have cake, there's no point in not eating the cake. So what I really want, Niels, and this is really the way it's going to work. So you really want to try to have your cake and eat it too. And I think we can do that. I think we can have our cake and somehow not have any impact from trying to solve a different problem. Look, I think this is have our cake and eat it too. That's really the message of my Voxcast right now. That's really what I'm trying to get across to everyone. So thanks once again, Niels. I appreciate the concern, but what we really need to do is you need to have that cake and eat it too. So try maybe showing a bit more empathy towards both workers and refugees. Let's see if we can do that. And not have any kind of conflicted interest. All right, let's move on. So I kind of put the return of Gilliman on hold, but I really am really excited about the Avenging Sun coming back and the Indomitus Crusade that he's been running, retaking whole swaths of Imperial space and combating the worst of the nasties that are lurking out in there. And I think that what's got me most excited is he knows how to run things. He can make things run smooth. And if there's anything I really appreciate is what's that, Doris? Niels. What about Niels? Niels says he's going over to Pius. At least he's open about not caring about me, huh? Listen, Niels. The truth. The thing is, Niels is stumbled onto something that's quite true, which is there's no subtlety or compromise in any of this. It really is a choice between me and the wild, ridiculous notions and utter disregard for human life that Adrian Pius has and that his followers have. Look, that it's two polar opposites, and there's nothing in between. So I appreciate you, Niels, and if you're heading out, then you will be missed. You will be very greatly missed. All right. Oh, we got a big Chad coming in with the big donation again. Hey, dear Cyrus, I'm a member of a certain space pirates crew, and I have recently come across a great artifact in the depths of an Imperial tomb. A sanguineous body pillow used by Dante himself. Huh. Big Chad, you may have come across one of the most important and holiest of relics that have ever been uncovered. Or you might be the biggest heretic that I have ever seen. Oh, Ms. Dora says he's trying to sell it for 100. Is Big Chad was the one who tried to sell, was trying to sell things earlier too? Now we got feet picks, and we got Sanguinius body pillow, all for 100 thrones. You mean to tell me, Big Chad, that you are charging the same amount for Xenos feet picks as you are for a holy relic like a Sanguinius body pillow used by Dante himself, as you claim? I was gonna accuse you of heresy for all kind of things, but I think listeners, what do you think? Do you think this is? I think it's pricing's heresy, quite honestly. Who's with me on this one? Who's with me on this one? Niels, Niels, you really seem to be upset about all this. Doris says you keep bringing in. So I don't want it to be this way. Why can't we just admit that you don't care about the menials? Call them workers. Call them workers. We want to show them that respect. You can't advocate both policies that harm and hurt us. Um, I don't see why I can't have my cake and eat it too, Niels. I think we're just at a uh, you got a real one track mind there. The way you're thinking, and and honestly, I think you need to compromise and really just accept what I'm telling you, which is, of course, what compromise is. All right. So, all right. Here's what. Now, I've already talked a lot about some really complex issues, and I've given you some really simple solutions without thinking about, well, different variables that could change a situation. But let's start solving some galactic problems. That's what we do here on this show. We lay down the truth and we solve the galaxy's problems. All right, why don't y'all throw out some great? What are some of the greatest threats to the Imperium, and let's see if we can tackle them. Let's wrestle this steer. Let's wrestle this Grox. What do we got? You keep your ear to the phones, Miss Doris. Let's take a listen to what everyone's got here. We're solving problems here, solving the biggest threats to the Imperium. Ms. Doris says we got a message from Commander Farsight. I am one of the greatest threats to the Imperium, huh? Isn't that one of them Tau fellas? Them Tau fellers? No. Okay. No. There's no big threat from the Tau. Another donation from Big Chad. All right, Big Chad, come on board. I know you've been doing all kinds of strange things, but you're keeping the lights on. So Ms. Doris is putting you through. And thank you, Cyrus. Captain Kazazel. He found out about the feet picks. This night, this might be my last message. But if you're still interested, send me your thrones to me on this ship. Oh, wait a minute. You're on a Dark Eldar ship, and you're just letting us know where you are. All right, I'll take that information, pass that on to the people who need to know where that Dark Eldar pirate is. Uh oh, I got that there. Trays in the Infinite. All right, put them on. I can give you an ancient orc, a croak for a mere 10 thrones. Be wary. They were much taller and aggressive than a standard orc. I gotta be honest with you, Mr. Trazen. This is That is a I don't know why I would want an orc that's bigger than an orc. Uh, Someone explained to this here Trazen how trade works. I think he might be confused. All right, we got another caller coming in. Doris, go ahead and put Lorenzo on the line. The end is nigh. Repent, repent, I say, with the return of Robot Girly Man and the roamers of Beaky McBirdface coming soon. We need to invest all our money in plasteel and never fail bunkers before it's too late. Now, all right, thank you very much, Lorenzo. And I would like to point out and generalize this is clearly the way that all of Adrian Pius's followers behave. They are wild, lunatic fearmongers who buy into every scam that comes across them. So, but we are focused on important things. So when every bit of every hundredth throne that you donate here will then go in turn to donate to the fund to have every instance of the word menial replaced with the word worker, to really show respect and solidarity with our worker friends who keep things running throughout the Imperium. All right, Doris, we got any other questions? All right. Tech Priest friend says that the Tech Priest workers need more toaster rations. Do you know what those are? I gotta have to admit here, I am a bit limited in my knowledge of the Adeptus Mechanicus and their inner workings. That might be a question for your local Tech Priest. But we're looking at threats. We're looking at complex threats, overwhelming threats, and we're coming up with solutions. We got a Tal popping up saying he was the great threat, and I think my answer is no, they're not. There, problem solved. No, they're not. What are the problems we got facing the Imperium? We got monsters. We got Xenos. Why don't we talk about? All right, so we got these. Got a few apparently listening here. Those skeleton fellers. Oh, Niels Ebsen. Look, Niels, we're on your side here. Maybe you could listen to an actual unionized emperor-loving menial, and yes, we prefer that word, call us menials, and be in favor of the things that actually improve our lives. Niels, I think you have really taken on the language of your oppressors. And I think if you really opened yourself up and accepted the word worker, then you'll see really how much of a difference it can be to kind of live your life with that kind of confidence, to call yourself a worker and shed the tyrannical term menial. All right, so we got another question. What do you think of the Tau's treatment of humans that join their empire? I try not to. I try not to. I try not to think about the humans that have fallen so far from the Emperor's light that they are consorting with Xenos. Now, I do not agree with Adrian Pius on so many things, which might seem surprising because we have such similar formats, and we offer simple solutions to complex problems. They're just different. And I'm not saying that we both benefit and profit off of this endless bickering back and forth and the polarization that takes place in the Imperium. I'm not saying that we don't make money hand over fist, playing people against each other in order to enrich ourselves. Now, what was my point? My point is that both Adrian, Pius, and I at least agree that the Xenos are... Don't deal with Xenos. Don't deal with the Tau. And how they treat human beings is they don't treat them like they're human beings. They treat them like they're Xenos. And as we know, we don't treat the Xenos well, so they must not treat the humans well. That's some simple logic right off the top. We got Niels Ebsen heading out. So long, Niels. Thanks once again for the donations. Thanks for the thoughtful conversation. We are proud of you and your worker friends. Worker friends. All right. We got a suggestion. Gene stealer cultists are a threat, and giving them money will make things much worse. That's Joseph Easton. He's spreading those lies around. He's spreading those lies. All right, we got another question here. But if our lords will deal with Xenos, are they really that bad? Look, I'm not saying that every businessman is bad or that every governor doesn't know his keister from his elbow, but I am saying there's a lot who don't, and I think they're a big problem. Now, yes, they're going to have to deal with Xenos threats, but we really need to be focusing on really improving and reducing corruption in the Imperial. How do you address the allegations that you're just a straw man hired by Adrian Pius to actually win an argument for once? Now, I've heard this. People say that Adrian Pius and I are just two different mouths talking out of... We're just one mouth and we're both talking out of each side. And I think that is a ridiculous accusation, because I clearly disagree with Adrian Pius and can't stand a thing he stands for, except for the times I agree with him. Got a Ms. Doris, we got a winner coming through. Old Man Skeletal with a donation. You're on the Cyrus Amani show. We've stopped burning workers, but now a gene stealer cult has started causing trouble. In addition to the sky looks a lot like teeth right now. Well, see, this is where getting proper funding and training to the Arbites would really help your situation. Because if you've got incoming trouble from the outside and you got trouble on the inside, you're fighting on two different fronts. So I think we really want, in addition to making sure the Arbites are a kinder, gentler, more sympathetic, empathetic organization, we also want them to do their job better by eliminating these gene stealer cults. So I think that's what we gotta. We really, even though you're probably under assault now, and whatever plans that the gene stealers have started are already being enacted, this is honestly a really good opportunity for me to advocate for additional funding and training for the Arbites to better identify gene stealer cults. So, all right, we got it. People worried about the orcs. How do we deal with the orcs? How do we deal with a war? I promised you simple solutions to complex problems, and I'm delivering to them. And this might be something even Adrian Pius knows. The answer to the orc problem: you kill the war boss. Which one's the war boss? The biggest one. Where's the war boss? He's in the front. That's the way these things work. kill a war boss. Whenever a war starts getting cooked up, kill a war boss. Then they break apart, they start fighting with each other, and you mop them up. Done and done. Done and done. So, I do appreciate Old Man Skeletal once again for the donation. Very much appreciate it. So, we've talked about some of the most dangerous threats to the Imperium, but I want to talk about what I think is the number one threat. The number one threat to the Imperium is Adrian Pius. Now, Adrian Pius is a huckster. He's a liar. He's trying to sell you on all kinds of false promises. And he's really dealing in dangerous ideas that undermine the strength of the Imperium. It doesn't help us to ignore the needs of our workers, to ignore the needs of our refugees, to ignore the needs of everyone who isn't like Adrian Pius. That is what and I think the solution, of course, is that we really his Voxcast really needs to be taken off the air. That's the simple solution to everything. Oh, we got Zachary Weaver saying that orcs are manipulating stocks. Well, whichever is the one who's manipulating the stock, some sort of stock boss, you kill him. That's how you stop them. Then they'll start trying to outbid each other. They'll try to undercut each other, and there'll be a mass sell-off. And then whatever stocks they were trying to manipulate to try to enrich themselves, they're going to crash. Whether they're invested in DACA or Big Boosh or Shuchi or FASTA or Stompas or Dreads or Tracks or Trucks, whatever they're investing, eliminate it. Sergeant Arrhenius, it's simple economics, brother. We must purge the Xenos. See? Simple solutions to complex problems. Much appreciated, Sergeant. So I just want to. We're gonna go on for a little bit longer. I think we'll give it another 20 minutes. Then we're gonna have to wind things down. But I really want to try to paint things in black and white by really, even though I paint things in black and white, I'd like you to think that I am a fairly nuanced thinker type person. That I consider the feelings of the several different kinds of people that I'm aware of that exist in the galaxy. And truly, what we really need to be focused on is figuring out how to solve our prison issue, figuring out how to solve our refugee issues, and eliminating all the threats that are constantly facing the Imperium. And people make that sound like it's hard. And it ain't hard. The simple matter is that you need to not listen to Adrian Pius, and you need to listen to me. We got a question up here. Why do you and Adrian Pius have such similar voices? Are you two secretly related? Now, I'm going to cut down this this rumor right here and now that Adrian, Pius, and I do not know each other. We do not work in the same office. We are not down the hall from each other. We do not discuss what we're going to talk about ahead of time, arrange to have the same discussion points, figure out what each other's positions are so we can argue against them, and then convince people that buying from our different sponsors or donating to our Voxcast is somehow going to defeat the people who have bad ideas on the other side. Yeah, I don't do that. I do not do that. Also, Big Chad, aren't you in canoodling with an Eldar pirate? And isn't that what you're doing? Yeah. See, Kilazaf knows that's not Adrian's Canid in the background. That's my Canid. That is my Canid. Completely different Canid because mine is a Cyber Mastiff, and little man Adrian Pius only got just a regular homegrown Canid. No, Sergeant, a Canid. Canid. It's not a Xenos. It goes woof woof. Man's best friend, Canid. Come on now. Now, really, the truth of the matter is you're going to find the truth one of two places. You're going to find the truth with me and my love of progress, advancement, wisdom, empathy, patience, diligence, loyalty to the emperor, uh, disdain and contempt for the Xenos and the heretic, but sympathy for all those who are suffering out there right now in the galaxy. And while I myself know very little about their situations, I have read reports on them briefly before my show started. So I think that makes me an expert on all of these issues. Because the difference between me and an expert who is well versed in all of these things and can really come up with good solutions is they don't talk very well and they don't sound convincing when they say things. They'll stutter and stumble over explanations and graphs and charts and population statistics and studies that show what courses of action are likely to produce positive results. But we don't have time for that. We don't have time to listen to long, boring things. Look, Adrian Pius is a con artist who offers simple solutions to complex problems. I offer simple solutions to complex problems that sound complicated and make you feel smarter for believing them. Because I say my backing's from science. Come on now. Come on now. We got Cyrus of Sirens. Come on. You all know it. All on my side here. All on my side. Farewell. All right, we got Joseph Easton finally ending his accusations of being a gene stealer. Rune Master Doris saying that Rune Master, hi, I love the stream. Well, you are very welcome to be joining the Voxcast. We've been discussing all kinds of things. We've been discussing Coram Pere 5, and Governor Sumalis and Governor Greg. I didn't talk too much about them. I might loop back to that. We talked about reform of the prison system. We talked about the environmental impact of hive cities. We've talked about the plight of workers. We've talked about the refugee crisis. And we've talked about how those four very important topics don't, and the solutions that I've proposed to them clearly don't have any conflicting interests in executing any of those plans. Thoughts on Tau? Doris, what are you saying? Isn't that fellow was talking about the orcs earlier? Yeah, thoughts on Tau business practices. Tau, we don't. I try not to think about Tau. Only good Tau's dead Tau, and I think that's another thing I agree with Adrian Pius on. I'm getting a little confused at how often I end up agreeing with that man. All right, can you remind me what your solutions are, sir? All right, here we're gonna go from top to bottom, and the solution to prison system, as I said, we got overcrowded, we got whole penal worlds, we got prisoners on top of prisoners on top of prisoners, and it's a big money sink, and it's just lining the pockets of all the ones who are running the prison system. What we need to do is we need to shift our prison system from a punitive system to a rehabilitative system. Now, that involves a lot of things. That involves figuring out how to stop antisocial behavior. That means addressing all of the mental problems that untold trillions of prisoners have. That means a massive increase in prison staff to be able to accommodate all these programs. That means giving them job training. That means figuring out housing for them. That means figuring out all sorts of manner of different factors that I like to put under the umbrella of reform. And if we just do reform, that will solve the problem. Let's reform the prison. Let's make it more rehabilitative. And that's as much as I feel like thinking about that. Lorenzo coming up. I've seen this floating around. Doris says a number of people are saying the best place to get rehabilitation is in the Imperial Guard, and I'm not going to disagree with that. That is a fine place to get some real good rehabilitation at the hands of a commissar and some real hands-on job training and expertise, if I do say so. Some folks have also suggested that servitors conversion might also lead to some very good job training. And I honestly haven't met a servitor that wasn't very, very badly damaged, that wasn't good at its job. So I must say they'd probably get pretty good training on that. So environmental impact on the hive cities is we need to reform and change the way we do business, really, with all of the industry that we have. In the midst of a war, in the midst of a thousand different crises, we need to focus on updating our infrastructure so we are not pouring toxic waste out into the vast ash plains and radioactive debris, so that we can have breathable air. And I'm just gonna say that that's what we want to do, and not think about how exactly we're going to get the resources or the technology to fix all that. Doris, what do we got? We got another one on the line? What do you mean he's here? Greetings. How about a better deal? If you find me a better artifact, such as Gilliman, I will show you the secrets of the war in heaven. No tricks. Well, there's a mighty tall skeleton folk in here in the studio. Doris, I thought you told him we're not to tell him where we were located. This is I'm just gonna wait until he's gone. Well, thank you for the donation, Trays in the Infinite. We'll talked to Adrian earlier, and he's having trouble with these Necrons too, rolling up and trying to kidnap him too. Why do they want talk show hosts? All right, well that's a heck of a deal, but we still don't endorse canoodling with Xenos in any shape or form. here on the Cyrus, the Cyrus Amani show. All right, we got a suggestion from coming up. A theory: rehabilitation planets, new planets where the colonization is on the inmates that are to be rehabilitated by constructing and civilizing a new planet under proper supervision. Of course, that is an option, because there are definitely some very dangerous worlds uh, that still could stand to be populated and civilized, and that's an idea. That might be something I incorporate into the. I'll think about that one. That one might be incorporated into the Cyrus Amani uh, belief system, the our value system. That's more what we're talking about. All right, we've got Big Chad on the line once more. If you need a guest star, I might be able to convince Daddy Kazazel to come in as a guest. Uh, Big Chad, look, you at this point you're a friend of the station. You've been most generous, but think you got a little funny in the head being around the Dark Eldar too long. Uh, think you might, and I really don't want any more Xenos in, especially ones that are well versed in torture, to be appearing here in the studio. So, once again, thanks for the donation, Big Chad. But I worry about you. I do worry about you. All right. So, getting back to the different solutions that I'm going to go over. So we also have the uh, the refugee crisis coming from the Imperium nihilists, and also the difficult situation that our workers find themselves in, especially if being called menials instead of something a bit more respectable like workers. And that's something that I really want to. And I think the solution to all this is we're gonna settle these. We're gonna take on all these refugees and settle them right in. We can't. Adrian Pius wants to say nope, we're full up. Imperial Sanctus is full up, and I think we can make good use of all these refugees coming in. Um, and I don't think that piling them up into already populated planets with an existing workforce, and then suddenly having a glut of people who may or may not be trained, who may or may not be criminals, who may or may not have a lot of problems with the horrors that they saw in the Imperium Nihilus. But again, simple solution to complex problems is the name of the game. And I think helping the refugees and not thinking about how their interests might conflict with that of our workers is probably the best way forward. Uh, Also, how overhauling our industry in order to fix environmental problems that have kind of gone far beyond the pale and will take about a couple thousand years to actually fix and start to heal a planet. That's still a high priority for me. Now, why don't we just fire the prisoners into a nearby star, clean and efficient? Oh, Timmy the tech priest. That sounds like an Adrian Pius solution right there. Why don't we just get rid of them, huh? Do you have no heart? Do you have no sympathy? I appreciate that you want to go clean and efficient. It's a waste and it's cruel. It's waste and it's cruel. We are a people of kindness here in the Cyrus Amani show. You break my heart. You break my heart, Timmy. You're breaking my heart. Now I think we've had a grand old time, so I think I'm gonna wind down with some of my final thoughts. We here, the Imperium, are embarking on a new age where we are stepping away from the old ways of thinking, the old mindless superstition and God worship, when we see where God worship has gotten all the other Xenos, all the heretics, all worshiping the wrong thing. And I think that's where we've gotten our heads at wrong. That's why our technology has been so slow to get better. That's why everything's in such a mess. It's because we strayed away from the Imperial truth. It's that, Miss Doris? Got another call. Well, I'm wrapping things up. By who? Oh, you got another one from Phrasing the Infinite. Ha! Oh, come on now. Let us go search for a new artifact. You can even broadcast your experience from my hospitality. My safety may be compromised here at the Cyrus Amani show. Please, God, Emperor, even though you're not a god, please help me out here. Please help me out. Please protect your loyal servant who has been loyal and only wants the best for. Oh, please don't take me away, Mr. Skeleton Man. Please don't take me away. Oh, got another call from Lorenzo. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. That's what we do here at the Cyrus Amani show. We don't give up. We keep on trucking. We keep on telling the Imperial truth. Lorenzo, you're on the air. Hi, Cyrus. Are you in favor of a 2 Imperium solution? I think you're talking about that there Imperium Secundus. I think Lord Gilliman he knows a bit more about that, but I would not. We sort of do already, whether we like it or not. We do sort of have an Imperium Nihilus and an Imperium Sanctus. One is being led by Dante, and one is being led by Rabute Gilliman, and I don't think that's ideal. I think at some point we gotta defeat all the enemies facing mankind and really set things right and try to get us back to our glory days by moving forward. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, wait. I don't know if this is good. There's another skeleton fella in the studio, and he doesn't seem too happy to see the other skeleton fella. So I think I am. Tracy, why don't you go deal with that there skeleton fella, your friend of yours? I'll go wait outside for you, and I will not be getting on a ship to take me to a paradise world for a few weeks. I will definitely not be doing that. All right, everyone. That has been the Cyrus Amani Voxcast, and just looking out for the Imperial truth, trying to bring you a kinder, gentler, more empathetic Imperium. And I'm just going to be running away from some metal skeleton men and trying to stay on the air as best as I can. Emperor's blessings on all of you. Though he is not a god, he still carries very strong blessings. All right, I gotta go. Farewell.